Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a fresh episode of Billboard Unfiltered. Guys, we have a jam-packed episode as we're going to dive into arguably one of the greatest hip-hop battles we have seen of all time. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Guys, I have not seen anything like this.
It's definitely the busiest battle ever.
Yeah, just the drop.
It's crazy. They got us
Drake
working
called it.
overtime.
He's like, drop. And that's what niggas did.
They got us working overtime. I'm curious to get your takeaways from the battle. Obviously, we have not seen anything like this. 7 disses in a week, double digits in a month.
That's crazy.
What are some of your biggest takeaways from this battle? I'll start with you, Dame.
My biggest takeaway is that these are two of our best hitmakers working today. I think people already knew Drake was a hitmaker. He's our genre's premier hitmaker. I think people underestimated how good of a hitmaker Kendrick was just because Kendrick doesn't drop that often, and when he does drop, you never know where you're going to get with Kendrick. He can be going in a different, more personal direction where he's not really focused on the charts, or he can make an album like Damn where he's much more accessible. I think this showed that these two guys, I would say, are the best we got. It just proves that, because no one can make that many songs that quickly, that everyone's like, man, these are great.
Yeah.
And I heard push-ups in cars. I'm seeing videos of people playing Not Like Us in clubs. And these songs all came out in a week, or over the course of a week or so. So I'm just blown away by the talent of these guys. It's pretty remarkable.
Trevor?
Yeah, I don't want to overstate this, but especially like the fact that it is Drake and Kendrick who represent sort of two different factions of what people think of what hip hop should be. Like Drake, obviously, like Damien was saying, has the numbers, has the acclaim, has the streaming stats. Like he has helped make hip hop that number one genre that it's been for the past 5-6 years, where there's no question that pop, rock, country, everything is trying to catch up to hip hop. Kendrick, of course, on the other hand, is it's like the Prince Mike Jack thing. Like Kendrick has always been everyone's sort of favorite lyricist. This is a guy who's got the Pulitzer, who's breaking through in those kind of ways. So they're both two giants, but in two different ways. And the fact that, I don't want to overstate that it's like a battle for the soul or the direction of like where hip hop's going to go. But the fact that you almost kind of never thought we'd have like these two heavyweights in the same ring, direct shots, like, bar for bar, track for track. It's something I think people maybe never thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Can I be honest? I'm fucking hurt. I'm fucking devastated.
Go ahead.
I purposely didn't wear
rip the shirt
an
open.
OVO hoodie. I was gonna come in my Toronto. I just told him I was gonna come in a Raptors jersey today.
I thought you were talking to the team. I was like, what's about to happen?
I think for me, my biggest takeaway, and cats won't say this publicly, I'm proud of Drake because Kendrick is one of one. I think he's in the 1 percentile when it comes to wittiness, lyricism, and creativity. And I think he's shown that with these 4 disses. And I think, for me, I was able to appreciate the Easter eggs and the different types of layers. I ran to Genius so many times, and I was blown away each time, finding a new Easter egg, finding a new lyric. But I will say this, because the court of public opinion had already decided who won, because as a culture, cats hate Drake. Let's just keep it real. Cats hate Drake.
Throw it back. So
Cats hate Drake.
No.
You're proud of Drake because
I'm proud because he showed up.
Okay.
He always shows up.
No. He showed up in the sense that he didn't get washed. I'm not gonna say
But we
he
knew
got washed.
Drake is the only one out of those two who has actually been through the battle process.
Absolutely, but look at the cats he faced. With the exception of Pusha T,
battle rapping.
he does until he knows what he's up against. I think, and
So you think those were all practice fights? Like,
of course, with the exception of Pusha T.
Okay.
And we saw what happened with that. I think going into this, culturally speaking, from a hip-hop standing, cats did not want to see Drake win from jump because he does not represent hip-hop.
I don't know if that's true, bro.
What
He's
Kendrick
one of the
said,
biggest
what Kendrick
stars
said,
in the world.
From a mainstream standpoint,
Yes.
I'm talking about hip-hop. Because I told Trevor this, he has the hardest act in the world in terms of trying to balance being a pop star and then trying to be a hip-hop star. He has to churn out these Hot 100 hits so people can still go to the show, to the concert, all of that, get the streams. But he still has to maintain some type of lyricism to be respected by the MCs, especially after the whole ghostwriting allegations came about. After that came out, cats were already quick to say, "Oh, fuck him." They're already on the fuck him train.
Does he have to do any of that? Like, you're saying he has to be a pop star. He doesn't have to be a pop star.
But that's the route he chose.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
But he also wants to still be respected in hip hop.
This is what happens.
But he's the only one really teetering both sides. And I think that's why Kendrick low-key is like, my dude, pick a side. But I say that to say, you know, but I say that to say, knowing the odds he was up against and how he delivered quality records, I think Family Matters is a fucking heater.
Amazing songs.
Amazing.
The last third of it to me was the best part of it. That probably should have been the whole song. I think that was like one of the best songs Drake's made in a long time, period. But that was like, I wish that was the whole thing.
That's fair.
I still hum them out the flow in my head when I walk
The cadence
around.
is great.
Yeah.
I think Kendrick just came with a kill shot. When it was not like us, that's when I packed it in for Drake. I said, bro, I don't want to hear nothing no more. You did a great job. I'm proud of you. You got brownie points for me.
I'm proud of you.
But it's over.
But you don't think Heart Part 6 did anything to,
Heart Part 6, what I hate about that record, he was on the defense. Instead of, I like Drake playing offense.
There was a shit ton of allegations you got.
And he had no choice. And I respect him for
that Kendrick
going against
him. What you think?
But Drake obviously thrives when he's on the offense, dishing out shit.
Yeah.
He didn't do that on the Heart Part 6. A lot of people thought that was him throwing the towel. To me, that sounded like the case too. And I would too. Like
it sounded like Blueprint 2. Like it sounded like the Blueprint 2 track.
I love Blueprint 2, by the way.
It's a great song. But it's definitely Jay being like,
I took it out. I took it out. And I think that was the case. And I kind of want to pose you guys this as well. Where do you go from here if you're Drake?
I think you just keep making hit records.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I guess to your point about the public opinion thing, once people have already set up that Kendrick has won in their mind and there's not a thing Drake can do, I mean, Drake would have to come with some, I think people are talking like, it's got to be Epstein, it's got to be, P. Diddy level. Like, you got to have some kind of dirt that's going to turn the whole tide of it. If you don't have that, I don't know what you do. Maybe you take a break. And the one thing I do hate is people are going to think that, that Kendrick sort of killed Drake and that Drake will never recover. I know we talked about some of the albums starting to trickle down in first week performance. The hits aren't coming as quite crazy as they used to in the 2010s. Drake has still got a long way to go before he's, completely washed. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe that's what you got to do is just go back to what you do best.
That's what he does.
I mean, you gave it your best shot. And I'll be fair. There are people out there who do think that Drake is doing better than Kendrick. I know some people are saying, Kendrick's sort of repeating the same things 2-3 times, like across the different songs. There's nothing new. So it's not that it's all, 100% Kendrick, but.
It does sound as if Kendrick recorded all of his stuff in one batch and was just holding them to see what would happen if Drake did this or if someone did that. Whereas it feels like Drake was actively recording as this went.
Right. I mean, referencing the tracks, very much listening and responding.
I think the thing that helped Kendrick was he did the Drake thing. He made a song that people want to hear,
sing,
regardless of its content.
Yeah.
They just want to hear that song out. People are out there saying OV ho because it's just a fun thing to say.
69 guy.
69 guy. A minor is
freaky ass nigga. These are all things that no one really thought that Kendrick not could do, but had the willingness to do. They didn't think that he would make a song like that at all.
Especially after Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
But they thought he was just, the
especially after Meet the
dude.
Grams. To go from Meet the Grams, which is a horror movie.
Yeah.
In audio form, it's slow and creeping. It's very, very, very. It's very haunty,
surgical, methodical.
It's
your turn,
song.
then it's your turn. It's
my heart.
It's you're opening every door,
right?
And now you.
To
go from that to a DJ Mustard, basically a summer bop, is crazy. That's a crazy. When Kendrick called himself bipolar, I think he was being honest because in order to go from that to that, that's pretty nuts, man. I don't think Kendrick,
especially
I don't think Drake expected that. I think Drake was probably like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, he admitted in the Hard Part 6, I would bump if he didn't triple down on the bullshit because it's a thumper.
It is.
It's a thumper. I would say Drizzy, man, Orbs. I would drop one more album. Because I think he has proven everything that he needed to in this sport of music and hip hop. And I would drop one more album because, again, it goes back to the court of public opinion. Y'all don't fuck with me. You guys don't appreciate me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop one more album. It's going to be classic Drake. It's going to be hits. It's going to be rapping. And then I'm going to just bow out because what's going to happen is you guys are going to miss the fuck out of me because guess what's going to happen? After this battle, we're going back to a space of hip-hop, which I told you both. We don't know what the fuck is going to happen in the future in terms of who's going to hold it down next.
Wait.
So I want y'all to miss me. I want y'all to miss me.
So you're saying Drake should drop one album?
Yep.
And then, as punishment for us not supporting
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go away, and y'all gonna be clamoring at the gates in Toronto.
He's like
because you know why? Like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
That's true.
So you're gonna miss the fuck out of me when there's no more hits, when there's no more bops, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, where all the bops go? We're not gonna be playing Not Like Us in 6 months. That's not gonna be the bop that's gonna hold us on forever. So you know what? Just miss me a little bit.
I think you're overstating how much people don't like Drake. I think people love Drake.
Bro, why is he getting washed like this on social media?
Because Kendrick dropped really good music. Is it crazy
to
believe that people are like, oh, wow, Kendrick, you really did a good job?
All he had to do was show up. Because cats already did not fuck with Drake. Mm-hmm. All Kendrick had to do was show up.
That's not true, bro.
I just want to put a pause real quick. In November, come back in November. And you gonna be playing Not Like Us, talking about.
I love Not Like Us.
But you just said anybody we played it in 6 months. Come back in November. I bet we'll be playing.
Traditional Drake records. You think it's gonna have a back-to-back feel?
I think it's gonna run this whole summer.
I agree, but back-to-back is probably. Are you gonna put Not Like Us as a top 5? I put back-to-back up there at the top 5 disc record.
I mean, let's see. I would. Let's see how.
Not Like Us is.
I still think you're overstating. I still think you're overstating how much people don't like when Drake dropped Family Matters. People were like, this is it.
And then 30 minutes later, look how they all
But that's
switched up.
only because Kendrick came back. Like this, I think you're missing the point where Kendrick actually did something good.
Listen, Drake, they don't love us, man.
Just because you lose a basketball game doesn't mean you're not good at basketball.
But the fans wouldn't leave us just like that easy.
Look at Miami. They leave before the game ends every game.
Damn. Miami.
Right? I'm trying to do that at the Garden.
Okay.
Trying to do that here.
Some Heat fans just tune out. Okay.
I mean, look at Embiid in Philly. He was like, where are all the fans at? But I'm just saying, like, there's, like, Drake lost this battle.
Okay.
Fair. But I think the real conversation that I don't think we have the proper media environment to have is the conversation that Kendrick was trying to have about him not being fully culturally a part of this thing. That's a conversation that everyone just kind of like jumped over because no one wanted to have that conversation. I think everything else, Drake is fine. He's not going to, no one's not going to listen to a Drake song. No one's not going to go to a Drake concert.
Yeah.
I think
mainstream, he's good. From a hip hop standing, I think he's going to go down.
Well, that's the conversation that Kendrick's trying to have. That people were like, I don't know if we're prepared to have this conversation yet. And until that conversation is like honestly had in the public, which we're probably never going to do, he'll be fine.
One person who is not hurting at all to me in this whole feud, J. Cole, who exited out of this battle very early on after dropping 7 Minute Drill. Then a week after, pulled it off of streaming, said, you know what, spiritually, I didn't feel good about it. Looking back at that decision, was it a smooth, smart play on his part to sit out this entire battle?
I wish the order of events were different and that he never got into it. But if he felt the way he felt, I wish he just never got into it. But looking at how the battle went over the past 2 weeks, it's extremely personal. Cole said he has no problem with Kendrick. I assume he has no problem with Drake. He just went on tour with him. If he's the only one that's going to be like, I'm a better rapper than you, then yeah, this is not the battle for that. Because this moved far from that long time ago. If the only recompense for him was like, I'm just going to prove to everybody that I'm a better rapper than these guys, which is what people thought this was going to be, then yeah, good job. Good job, Jermaine. That was probably a smart move.
Trev?
Yeah, you kind of got to agree that it probably would have been just too messy with so many supporting characters. We've already seen a lot of supporting characters in this, where there is, obviously Cole is probably the biggest one, but we've seen Ross come through, we've seen Ye come through, we've seen Weeknd out here. There's a lot of
Rocky.
so there's a lot of cats who, tried to sort of get in and they maybe had, a minute for a second there, but I think ultimately it's like, I'm a tennis dude. So like, to put an example like that, when it's Federer and Nadal, like that's who you want. Like if somebody else comes along and knocks somebody out, it's like good for them. I'm glad they did it. Wow, you took out Federer, crazy. But like everybody knows at the start, like that's who they really want to see, like at the end. And so it's the same thing as like Drake and Kendrick are the two main characters of this. And if we had to sort of talk about, okay, someone else put this other track out and then they respond to this, it's like, no, we want like this shot, that shot, this shot, that shot, and we want to just A and B.
I think if the big three were beefing in any capacity, it would be insane. Even if it was like, for some reason, Cole and Drake versus Kendrick, it would be the craziest beef ever.
But then people would be like, oh, they tag team, and it's unfair.
Exactly. It would just be
all,
nuts to see.
It just feels very like.
But do you guys think Drake feels any kind of way knowing that Cole felt bad? Because he said on a couple of the records, I can't get with Cole stepping away from the battle. Like, do you wonder if their relationship might take a hit?
I mean, I don't know what their relationship is in the first place, but
yeah,
the Drake lines to me came off more so like Cole opted out of this, but I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, like if that's his thing,
like
cool.
That's
if
his thing. That's not how I feel about this.
I just don't know if we'll ever see first person shooter performed again.
And that's
I guess if you got the footage, if you was in the arena, consider yourself part of history.
I think Cole made a smart move. I tried over the weekend playing Ready 24 with Cameron. It was just a struggle for me for a while to replay that Might Delete Later tape because it was so good. But then when he withdrew himself from the battle, I was like, oh, fuck you, bro. Like, everything you were talking about, like, I'm the best, y'all can't fuck with me. You lost all the brownie points because as an MC, you're supposed to take on any challenge. And when he withdrew, I was like, okay, I can't, your credibility is shot to me. But now seeing how personal things have gotten, I didn't want to see Kendrick talking about Cole playing in Rwanda averaging 2 points. No, I didn't want, but I'm just saying, everybody was so scared that those stats was going to be the one in the file.
Or didn't know, but I have to believe that Jermaine, being friends with them, knew the type of vitriol that was going to come out because of how they felt about one another.
Right.
And he probably thought to himself, and I don't have any inside information on this, I don't know anything, but I would just imagine that he looked around, looked at these guys and was like, yeah, this is not.
I just wanted to rap, bro.
Yeah, I just want to prove that I'm the nicest.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about your families and all your crew members and what you may or may not be doing behind closed doors. Like, I'm good on that.
But what I worry about is, I hear you. Where things might get hypocritical for me is because Kanye stepped in at a point.
Yeah.
And he threw,
which was ridiculous. Let's be honest.
Absolutely, and he threw shots at Cole. And Cole, if Cole comes back and chooses to respond to Kanye,
I wouldn't if I were him. Like Kanye looks crazy, bro.
I mean, the shit is already messy enough as it is.
And that shit got buried.
I know.
With all.
And maybe that's what it is too. I mean, obviously the pressure sometimes makes you have to respond. Like, I mean, with these Kendrick tracks, clearly they're so massive, so discussed, so about to be like certified, you chart hit, streaming hit kind of things. You can't not let that go. Like, that is so on everybody's mind that maybe with the Ye thing, okay, Ye did something. Ye is taking shots at a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons right now. There's no reason to feel personally targeted.
He invented like Atlanta rap music.
Yeah.
Like at what point are we supposed to take any of this seriously?
Poor Kanye.
I mean, the list is long. That's not personal. Clearly, Drake, Kendrick, that's very much at you.
Right.
I think he made the right decision, man. Again, I'm pretty sure he would have wished it went differently. We all wish it went differently, but sitting here on, was it May 7th?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
And then it definitely feels like he made the right decision.
Cole could have got himself probably a couple free top 10 hits though if he'd have jumped in the fray.
Listen.
All these songs seem to be,
I can't wait to see what happens next week.
I mean, it's also kind of crazy too. I thought people would be, I kind of thought there'd be maybe one that jumps off and then a couple kind of fall by the wayside. But it's like every single song is, huge on Spotify, huge on Apple, very much talked about. I mean, I didn't even realize at first they were on YouTube. I didn't even think they were going to be sort of on this commercial wave. And now, in a year we already had Hiss, we had Like That, like people like the fact that we could have all these diss records certified as like, number 1, number 2 hits, like that's just gonna be crazy.
Absolutely.
Like when you look in the archives and 5, 10, 15 years, it's like, yo, hip hop, what was going on in hip hop in 24?
Mm-hmm.
Beef.
Yeah.
Well, let's step away from beef and get into the Hot 100. We got some really big, dope debuts and entries, starting with Tommy Richman and Shaboozey. Trevor, if you want to break down a little bit what happened this week on the Hot 100 with those two guys, let's get into it.
Yeah, Hot 100 it's one of those things like a couple weeks ago we would have never thought who was Tommy Richman?
Yeah.
Shaboozey was just on the feature on Beyonce, and now, we got these 2 breakout hits. Tommy Richman, of course, coming in number 2 on the Hot 100, his first time ever on the chart with the song $1 Million Baby. So that song is the top streaming song of the week, 38 million streams. Obviously, when you debut that high, of course, people are already going to be looking at, is this a number 1 in the next couple of weeks? Is this, a song of the summer?
Song's fire.
It's just like,
it's heat.
But really, if this beef wasn't happening, it would have went higher.
Well, I mean, it's hard to go higher than number 2. But
I think people were like,
you think people sort of distracted?
The audience that would go up for it was very distracted. With this.
People can stream 2 songs in the same day.
I don't know,
I'm gonna let them.
You know what's funny?
I'm gonna
Like,
let 'em
Tommy
rock.
posted on his Instagram. It was Apple Music, of course, and he was sandwiched, I think, at number 2, and I think under that was Family Matters, and I want to say maybe Euphoria, and then Not Like Us was number 1. So he's literally sandwiched in between beef
that
records.
mix.
I think if this beef wasn't happening, it's like the Taylor Swift fans are the Taylor Swift fans.
Right.
Like the fans that would listen to this song and make it go crazy are listening to Not Like Us and deciphering lyrics and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was able to do 38 million kind of, out of the gate is just also though.
Incredible.
Plenty of cats are showing up for this.
It's an amazing song.
And it goes to show TikTok in particular. I know a lot of people have talked about this track being teased on TikTok. It's made the rounds. People kind of, what is this? Like, when's it coming out? Like, let's go. And that probably is like the most understated way that people are really making hits. Like as a promotional effort, I don't think people realize how big that can be.
Yeah.
Like Jack Harlow's last 2 number 1s, First Class, Lovin' on Me, same kind of cycle. They were teased and put out there, and then people just like, yo, what is this? Like, this is fire. Where is this coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? And then you drop it, and then it explodes. Like, that is probably a way that honestly more people should look at that kind of strategy. I know it's tough because how do you figure out the TikTok algorithm? Sometimes you can drop a preview. I ain't gonna say no names, and sometimes people go, like we don't drop like this song. So it's not gonna work for everybody. But clearly, when it works, it works. And I know a lot of cats are talking about how do you break a new artist? All the traditional ways aren't working. That's the way to do it.
I mean, listen, for Tommy, this was his 36th record that he's released on streaming. First one to really pop off.
Yeah.
And I think an interesting fact that maybe our listeners or viewers don't actually know is Tommy and Shaboozey grew up in the same neighborhood. I want to say like a block away from each other.
Yeah, I probably should know. Somewhere in Virginia. I don't know the actual town, but I think Shaboozey was even talking like there's some footage of them performing somewhere, or at least they know each other like from way back when. So
yeah.
That's right.
And then
that's right.
with
The new
Tommy,
farm is somewhere down in Virginia, just plucking them up. Yeah.
And this is a huge win for Brent Faiyaz as Tommy is signed to ISO Supremacy. So shout out to Brent Faiyaz. Shout out to Tommy. Shaboozey, as you were saying, man, like a lot of cats don't even know he started off as a rapper. And then just pivoted over to country, and then he's just been having an amazing 2024, obviously, being on the Beyonce album, and then this one right here.
But the nice thing is he's kind of kept both of those things. Like, he didn't pivot to just, like, sort of singing country. Like, he does the country rap, sort of blending genre thing. So it's cool that he's taking that and putting his own spin on it. Obviously, with, Beyonce Cowboy Carter, a lot of people wondered, could this lead to a renaissance? It's like you can't use any word now and not have it feel like a pun. Is it a renaissance of, black country acts? And is it just going to be limited to Beyonce, or is everybody going to kind of get lifting tide from it? And so far, obviously, Shaboozey is the big breakout. The bar song, Tipsy, is called. It's number 3 this week on the Hot 100. So obviously right there in the mix with Tommy Richman, Taylor, Kendrick, all them to be a future number 1. But the fact that this song is really, and so quickly jumping on the heels of Cowboy Carter, like he replaced Beyonce at number 1 on the country songs chart. We've never had 2 black artists go back to back like that.
Let's go.
So this is a historic time for that genre.
Right.
And hopefully we can just, see it continue. I think that'll be kind of the big thing. Is it going to be a 1-year story? Is it going to be a 6-month story? But, hopefully we can continue to see some more faces in the realm.
And I think you made a great point, and I'll ask Damien this. Like, obviously you see the success of Tommy, you see the success of Shaboozey. Should that give labels and A&Rs optimism, knowing that you could still break an artist in 2024?
Yeah, I think it's you can break artists. I never understand the argument that you can no longer break an artist and that the avenues are gone to break artists. People don't stop listening to music. They want new music. They want new hits. Those guys just have undeniable hits.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Tommy's first song, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's his best song
Easily.
by far.
Easily.
And it's not a surprise that one is doing what it's doing. And Shaboozey, he's riding an amazing wave right now, and I think that I hope there's more after him. But even if there's not, I think this is an amazing thing to happen. Just because, when else would we be able to say what he just said? We have like a black person replace another black person on the country charts. A label should look at that and say like, well, shit, let's get more creative.
Yeah.
Like, what else can we do?
And the fact in particular, those 2 records are not traditional, kind of
Yeah.
like it's
Great
not
point.
like they're made out of the Nashville system with the same with hit makers that we've known and come about. Like
Yeah.
the audience is receptive to different ways that these sounds can be updated, adapted.
It's like being
twisted.
creative works. It's so
Who
crazy.
would- yeah.
It's so nuts.
I mean, the next test I will say for them, like everybody, is going to be, can they follow it up? We've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people come through with, major hit records, blow out the gate, but, is there a second one? Is there a third one? How does the album do? Those kind of things. I'm not trying to put that kind of pressure, but I know,
but it's real.
I know those questions
real,
are out there where people are going to, is this a fad? Is this a one-off, one-hit wonder? So hopefully that's not the case, and we're seeing a couple, new stars come through, but I'll be interested to see.
Yeah,
What happens?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's a wrap for Billboard Unfiltered. Again, we're your hosts, Lamarre, Trevor Anderson, Damien Scott. We'll see you next time.